Guy Ritchie's back with a heist film that's going to steal your heart and has some good action. Let's talk about Operation Fortune. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Operation Fortune, which is coming to theaters on March 3rd, 2023. It is a new Guy Ritchie film that has kind of his trademark lovely writing, but a lot more action than I expected, and some other interesting features that I did not expect in this movie. I didn't know anything about going in, and I loved it. My hot take is, look, I definitely think you should watch it. It has kind of the writing and humor that Guy Ritchie is known for. It has more of an action focus than I'm used to. It is really just a great heist film that is both exciting and entertaining. So definitely check it out. It's one of my favorites so far this year, and I think it'll probably stay on my favorite movie list throughout 2023. So I'm going to tell you a little more about the film, a few things I liked, and then go into the ending. As you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the ending section if you don't want to know what happens in this film, and you probably don't. There are some pretty big twists. Then I would turn this off at the ending section, but I will let you know when I get to that. So in Operation Fortune, you have Orson Fortune, who's played by Jason Statham, as this kind of like soldier of fortune contractor operative who is working with some branch of the British government, although there are many different branches that are at play here, to try to track down this device that was recently stolen. And you don't really know much about the device. You don't really know about much about what it does. You just know it was stolen from this lab, and now it is being auctioned off on the black market with like some underground criminal organizations. And the British government really, really wants to get it back. So they hire Orson Fortune and his team to try to get it back. And that leads to uh, an arms dealer, a movie star, and some other shenanigans. It is just a fantastic overall. It is just a fantastic overall setup for this heist film that has some twists and turns along the way. So, things I liked about this film. The first, and this is going to be kind of a surprising one, I love the music. It is so, so good. Like the music is really, really well done. It has this kind of like deep ominous feel to it when it needs to, that really kind of ratchets up the tension and the drama. If you've seen Wrath of Man, it is the same composer that did Wrath of Man, another Jason Statham movie, another film that I loved for the music, and it feels very similar to that because it's the same composer, and it has the same effect in this film. But it's not only ominous music. There is also some like fun, upbeat jazz kind of music that pops in occasionally when needed. But overall, the music is just fantastic. It does a great job of setting up the stage for this film and really kind of hyping up the emotions that you're supposed to be feeling. The second thing I really loved is the writing. Look, it's a Guy Ritchie film. I'm going to love the writing. It is funny. It is sharp. It doesn't reveal too much. It kind of has really good plays on words. And I liked that it slowly trickle fed information. Like it reveals things here and there, but never really reveals too much. It kind of keeps you along for the ride. And I really love that as well. The third thing I loved is the humor. It is not like super laugh out loud, but there are definitely laugh out loud moments that I had in this film. There's a lot of very, very funny moments, a lot of very funny scenarios, and some kind of charm in the kind of influence of this movie. You can tell that this film is kind of based off of and kind of revering kind of classic spy type movies, but they have some modern sensibilities. And you can tell that there's like they're kind of playing off of that, because sometimes like an old school character will say something and then they'll like instantly slap that down, or you can tell that they'll recognize how things might have been done in the past, but now in our modern world in a different time you can't do things like that anymore. So I really love just kind of like the constant like play that this film had, which was reflected in the humor. And the last thing I loved, and this was not really expected in a Guy Ritchie film, was the action. There was some pretty good action. There's some good fighting because, hey, you got Jason Statham. You might as well have some good fighting. There are some good car chases. There are some good shootout scenes. It doesn't have a ton of action, but when the action ramps up, it is very, very well done as well. So, look, I liked pretty much everything about this movie. Things I didn't love, well, really nothing. I mean, it kind of slows down in the middle as they're trying to set up the whole story, but look, it's not a big deal. I still loved this film and still really enjoyed all the different twists and turns. So, really, there was nothing I didn't love about this movie. So that is Operation Fortune. It comes out on March 3rd, 2023. So definitely check it out if you can. And I'm going to go into the ending section. So if you don't want to know what happens in this film, you don't want to know the ending, I would turn it off now. And I definitely would recommend that you don't know about the ending, because there are some fun twists in there. But one thing I will tell you is there is a fantastic stinger that you should definitely stay to watch. It is one of my favorite stingers I have ever seen. So just keep that in mind and go check out this film. So going to the ending, and like I said, there will be spoilers. So what you find out is that this arms dealer named Greg Simmonds, played by Hugh Grant, is brokering the exchange of this device that no one knows what it is. It's called the handle, between like these people who stole it, this criminal named Alexander, and the people who are buying it, who you never really know who they are. And so to infiltrate this transaction, uh, Orson Fortune and his crew get this Hollywood star who Hugh Grant's character Greg Simmonds like just adores. He is this, like this action god named Danny Francesco, who's played by Josh Hartnett, and it was fantastic to see. Like it was just really fun to have like a character who has to kind of play himself but also be involved in this operation. It's kind of a similar idea to The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is another fantastic film where like Nick Cage plays Nick Cage. This is Josh Hartnett playing like an actor who then has to go on this operation but still play an actor during this operation. It was fun. It had like some meta aspects to it, but overall it just made this wonderful kind of contrast between these horrible like arms dealers and the special operative individuals and this Hollywood superstar. So that was just a fun little clash of characters that happened in this movie. And so they use Danny Francesco to get into kind of like Greg Simmonds' orbit, and from that like initial meeting, he invites them to Turkey where they learn more on his base and kind of figure out more about what is happening with the handle. And during this all, Orson Fortune was hired by one arm of British intelligence. There is another competing kind of contractor who keeps appearing whenever Orson Fortune is there and kind of like mucks up what he's doing. He is not as surgical as Orson Fortune. He is not as kind of like refined. He is more of a brute force type contractor. And you keep wondering, like, who is he working for? And they keep trying to figure out. Well, eventually you find out that he is not working for anyone in the British government. He is working for someone else. He eventually like shows up when this transaction is happening, when the handle is like going to be sent, going to be like delivered. And you're like, okay, so he's like coming in here to break it all up, kill everyone, and get the handle. Well, you find out that he gets the handle, gets the transaction done, and then kills all the bad people in the room, which normally like, okay, but they're also like, that's kind of weird. Like they shouldn't be just straight up murdering people, especially if they're like working for the government. They should probably just get it and get out as soon as they can. So keep going, and you find out that the eventual buyers were these two biotech people that were introduced at Greg Simmonds' original boat party. These two like biotech billionaires. One was named Arnold. I forget what the other one, maybe it was Tom. I don't remember what the other one's name was, but they were the ultimate buyers of this handle. And what the handle was is it's an AI based hacking device that can hack into anything computer. It feels like a silly kind of like spy thing. It really is. It's kind of a silly device, but it is this AI hacking device on this hard drive that can hack into anything that's connected to a computer and then cover its tracks. So it could like, they describe it as it could hack in, launch a nuclear missile, and then make it look like someone else did it because it's so advanced. It can just do whatever essentially you want with a computer. And these billionaires had been buying gold, and you're like, that's a weird thing to do. Like they mentioned it once earlier in the film, how they're like in their past, like one of the things they've been doing is buying gold. And their ultimate plan is they'll buy this gold, use this device to shut down all the banking institutions, and then after that, there will, money will essentially disappear, and the only thing of value will be gold. And they have a ton of gold, so their money will go through the roofs. There you go. That was their ultimate plan. But what they didn't count on was, in doing this, they used this other contractor named Mike to kind of like broker this deal and cut out Greg Simmonds, who is this arms dealer. And Greg is not very happy about this. He's been in the game for a while. He kind of knows what to do. So after they track everyone down, Greg joins the team of Orson Fortune because he wants, to get revenge. He wants to like show them what's up. And because Orson Fortune's team had something on him and like essentially blackmailed him. So now we have a new team that involves Orson Fortune, his team, which includes Aubrey Plaza, who's a fantastic hacker, and Bugzy Malone, who is kind of like his right-hand person. I love his character as well. Now they have Danny Francesco working with them and Greg Simmonds. So they infiltrate the kind of complex that these two biotech billionaires are at to eventually launch their plan. They're going to take down all the banking institutions. So they have this complex that they built up. The team infiltrates, but it's an interesting one because essentially Orson Fortune goes solo and like tries to sneak in, but Danny and Greg go in through the front gate. They like go in, go up to meet with them. You see everyone, and there's this really wonderful meeting between Greg, Danny, and the two billionaires, and Mike and his people. And Greg basically just like says, "Look, like you haven't been in the game very long. You did this deal, but you didn't pay me." And the billionaires were like, "Well, we paid you. You were supposed to deliver it, and you didn't deliver it. Mike delivered it. He got the commission." And he's like, "No, no, no. I was supposed to broker the deal, and the deal got done. And I always get paid." And then he shows kind of his power by using a missile to blow up like a derelict hotel behind him and their entire satellite array. He's like, and then he hands them a paper, which is a list of like their loved ones and their exact coordinates, and a time when something terrible is going to happen to them. You have 5 minutes to give me my money, and then this will be done. And so Greg and Danny leave. The tech billionaires freak out, like trying to get the money transaction done. They wire the money, but while they're trying to like transfer the money back, Mike's hacker is like, "I've got all their bank information. We don't need them anymore," because he's just going to use that information to steal the money back. And so Mike tries to take them out, but the billionaires men, kind of catch on and they start shooting, and so everyone ends up shooting each other out, and everyone dies except for Mike. So Orson shows up after all this. He gets the package, the handle, this AI device, but while he's there, Mike comes and tries to attack him, and Orson just pretty handily beats him up. Now, Orson's been telling Mike that he's been like a poser the entire time, so it's expected that Orson's going to easily beat him, but I kind of wish that this was a bit of a bigger fight, a longer fight. It ends pretty quickly. Orson wins. The mission is successful. So they go to Doha to drop off the package to meet with their kind of like handler in the British intelligence, and he's like, "Hey, we have another job for you." And Orson and the team are like, "No, like we're going on vacation." And they have this nice like back and forth between when they're gonna go, when they're gonna like do their next job. And as they're leaving, the handler's like, "Oh, and that jewelry that you stole," because they stole some jewelry earlier in the operation. The government wants it back, and Orson's like, "I don't have any more. It was sold. I sold it to get into the movie business." And the handler's like, "What movie business? It better not involve Danny Francesco." And then it fades to black. You're like, okay, that's a funny way to end. But during the credits, there is a stinger, and it is one of my favorite stingers. The scene pops up again during the credits, and it's Josh Hartnett playing Greg Simmonds. Danny Francesco had kind of become enamored with Greg Simmonds with their interactions, and so now it is Danny Francesco playing Greg Simmonds in a meetup that's similar to the last one that happened between the billionaires and Greg, where he is like threatening them, but it is like a movie set, so it's set differently, but you have enough of what originally happened to tell what is going on. It is fantastic. It is really fun to see Josh Hartnett play Hugh Grant as this like super charismatic arms dealer. It is really fun. But that is Operation Fortune. Like I said, you should definitely watch it. It is one of my favorite movies of this year. And definitely check it out when it comes to theaters on March 3rd, 2023. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.